Good afternoon, everybody. Good afternoon. Thanks for coming. We know some of you would prefer to be on the beach, the crazy ones. Can everybody hear me? Yes. Has everybody got the cell phones turned off? No. That would be nice, please. Okay, before we start, can I just ask a couple of questions? Who is here because they know us and what we do? Oh, cool. Pretty much all of you. Okay. Who here knows absolutely nothing about what we're going to be talking about? Good. Who here is just for the free tea and cakes? It's good to know. It's good to know the beginning. Anyway, for those of you that don't know us, I'm David Slinger. This is my wife, Margie Slinger. But we make up Life Energy Designs. We've come here to introduce a new technology to you today called the Quantum Trailblazer. As though we're here as custodians for this technology, there's quite a big team behind it, yeah? One of the key members, who's not physically with us anymore, is Nikola Tesla. Is basically his technology that we're working with. Who here has heard of Nikola Tesla? Okay, good. So he's obviously not present, but the key member of our team is, of course, omnipresent, as always. So it's his technology we're working with, but let's just summarize what we've got in store for you this afternoon. The first thing we've got to do is put everything into a context, and then we can start explaining to you what the QTB is all about. Why we're calling it the QTB, what's involved in a session with the QTB, and then we're going to allow the QTB to talk for itself, and by God, it can talk for itself. Okay, now I'm going to hand over to Margie, who's got a few words for you.
Well, hi everybody. Nice to see so many of you here. Thanks for coming. Before I start, I'd like to just say thanks to our creator for bringing us all together and for making this possible. I'd also like to acknowledge all the hours, days, weeks, years that David has spent on the Quantum Trailblazer, as it's now called. His patience just went on and on. If it was me, I'd have just kicked it and said, this is the too hard basket. And I feel very privileged to be part of this all. And I want to thank all the team that have helped us today. One of the members of the team said, if you don't mention me, I ain't helping you again. So we've all come here at this time onto this planet for whatever reasons, and we are facing lots and lots of challenges. As Maggie, a friend of ours, said, when she was caught in the twister in the Albany shopping centre only a couple of weeks ago, when she went out into the car park and saw this, it was all surreal. And isn't this often how it seems? So much is thrown at us that it all seems really surreal. But actually, it is very real. So, how many of you know people that are having a hard time at the moment? How many of you personally are on a roller coaster at the moment? Well, we're coming up to 2012, and it's sure rocky road getting there. And for those of us that think, well, this is plain sailing and it's okay, just watch out for the potholes. So I'm not going to say anything about 2012 because most of you know more than me, I'm sure. And I really don't want to be standing here and seeing you all going, what didn't she say? So I'm just going to say what you all know, and that is that there is a gateway or a portal taking us from here to there, and what is there we really can't imagine with our finite minds. All we know is that it's going to be wonderful and better, or we hope it's going to be wonderful and better. So we come into this world as divine little beings connected to Source. But we're given a backpack. And in that backpack we put... Isn't he gorgeous? Well, I don't know if it's a boy, it might be a girl, eh? And into that backpack we put all the things that are not really us, but that we pick up. Because from birth to 7 years in particular, we are little sponges and we absorb all the things that we see, we hear, other people say. So what do we put in our backpacks? Well, one of the things is like, no. No, you can't. No, you mustn't. No, no, no. Negative. Things that stop us from doing things that we really would want to do and probably be good at. No. Guilt and fear. This is how people in authority rule us. Our parents to start off with, sadly, they don't know any better. Our teachers, politicians, the church, everybody in authority rules us by guilt and fear. And not good enough. How many people on this planet suffer inferiority complexes because of what goes on in their early formative years? And also putting us in a box. If we are in a box, then people can judge us, weigh us, know exactly how to treat us. If we're not in that box, well, you know, we're really free agents. So, any ideas, anybody else? What else goes into our backpacks?
Good stuff.
Sorry?
A lot of good stuff.
Yeah, we get good stuff as well. But the good stuff we want to keep, don't we? It's the other stuff that we want to get rid of.
Not enough.
Yep, not enough. Poverty mentality, which makes us competitive because we just think that there's not enough to go around.
Pack lunch.
Well, yeah, David would think that. And yeah, that goes in our backpack as well, gluttony. I'm saying no more. Oh! Oh!
Oh, don't mess up my slides.
Oh, I'm going.
Okay, so before we offer a quantum solution, we've got to have a quantum perspective on the problem. So does everybody here fully understand quantum physics? Yeah, right. Yeah. I'm going to boil it down into a nutshell. Basically, this is obviously a model of an atom, and we've got some stuff in the middle, and we've got a massive amount of empty space and some tiny little bits flying around. So all this that appears solid is mostly empty space. But it gets more interesting when you start to look at the little bits that are there, because these seem to be a product of consciousness, in that if you look at them, they're there. You look the other way, they're not. So, you know, if you're not looking at them, they're a potential, and if you look at them, they're an actual. So, I mean, it's really will-o'-the-wisp stuff. So, really, what it amounts to is that we're living in a massive energetic field, and we are energetic patterns, complex energetic patterns within that field. So that is the level that we're approaching the problem. So what is the problem in that context? The problem in that context is basically chaotic energy. It can only be energy. There is only energy and vibration. So what we're looking at with our baggage, our stuff, the stuff in our backpack, ultimately it has to be a chaotic energetic pattern. So this is our quantum baggage. This diagram here is designed to represent the energetic connection between us and Source, our physical bodies down at this end and Source at the other. Those of you who work with energetic medicine or have some understanding will know that this is the physical level, and then you step up in frequencies There's kind of like different frequency bands. You go into the etheric level, the emotional level, the astral, the etheric template, the celestial, and then the etheric, or the connection with source. So that is meant to be a superhighway. That is there's meant to be energy flowing to us from source and energy flowing back. That is meant to be going in both directions. But what happens is, these energetic blocks, this stuff, this baggage, this chaotic patterns, whatever you want to call it, they populate those bands and basically cause a blockage in the flow. And one way that you can look at it is that our well-being is dependent on that flow of energy from source. And if you put enough blockages in that path, then at the extreme, it no longer supports our physical bodies. That's obviously extreme, and you've got many degrees in between before that actually happens. So, quantum solution. The quantum solution works on something called resonant frequencies. Does everybody know what resonant frequencies are about? No? Okay, I'll explain it to you now. Everything in the universe has a resonant frequency, and that is a rate of vibration which it will naturally vibrate at. Okay? Now, you may have heard that when troops are walking across the bridge, they tell them to break step. Have you heard that one? Yeah, and the reason for that is because the bridge has a resonant frequency. And if they were to march all together at that resonant frequency, which they could quite possibly do, the bridge would shake and quite possibly could collapse. Yeah? Nikola Tesla himself, he created what he called an earthquake machine. And it was a tiny little device and basically had a little hammer that would vibrate. And he did an experiment one time. He was in the basement of a building, quite a big building, and he worked out somehow the resonant frequency of the building. And he set it up, and it was just literally tapping like that. And he had to smash it before the building fell down. That's how powerful it is. If you can get the resonant frequency of something and put energy into it at that resonant frequency, then you can explode it. You may have also heard of this one. Yeah? You heard that an opera singer, if they hit the right frequency, they can break a glass. Exactly the same principle, putting the energy into that glass at the resonant frequency of the glass, and then suddenly it no longer holds its form and shatters. So the QTB is basically, in that respect, an opera singer machine, in that it's working at the quantum level, obviously, but it's providing frequency and putting that frequency into our stuff, that baggage, to the point where it expands and explodes out of our system.